Russia has threatened Latvia. Ex-president of the country, Egil Levits, stressed at a meeting dedicated to the end of his presidency. He noted that although the threat level has increased, the security level of Latvia has increased just as well within the framework of NATO's collective defense. According to the president, the ability to defend and hit the enemy in vulnerable places is a guarantee that the enemy will not attack. Levits noted that such a policy of containment was the essence and the logic of security for thousands of years, which Russia understands quite perfect. The president stressed that improving Latvia's security level was neither easy nor taken for granted. NATO's strategic concept for 15 years meant that the allies would only support Latvia when attacked by Russia. After Bucha and Irpin, it became possible to see that such a concept is simply not viable anymore. The president also stressed that the West needs to explain that what is happening in Ukraine is an ideological war and not a war for resources. The ideological war stems from Russia's post-colonial inferiority complex, as Russia still sees itself as a duped superpower. You know that famous saying by Samuel Jackson that patriotism is the last refuge of the scoundrel was not actually made about real, genuine patriotism, but about a false use of it. A criminal, absurd, delusional pretext when even a nuclear disaster for the planet seems to be a more or less justified option to get what the Kremlin wants. So in your opinion, is Russia really a threat today? After anyone saw what an army can do, or rather said cannot do in Ukraine, no one is so afraid of Kremlin anymore. Do you think this is the case?
Yes, I think we do not fear Russia that much anymore. Although we can see what's happening in Ukraine, and it's just unimaginable. But Russia has done so much to destroy itself within this time, and is still taking that path and moving forward in this like going nowhere. And I believe that's how to say, they are not going to be able to attack us. Even if they want to, they're going to need a lot of time. They're going to need... And actually, I think with the Ukraine winning this war, and I believe that's going to happen in the in the nearest future, actually, we are safer than before now, because Russia has weakened itself so much that I do not think they can... even if they do like big reforms in the army, if they try to improve things, it's impossible to have now a strong army after all of what they have done to themselves. And you addressed also this patriotism, and that's what Russian propaganda is using. They are sending their people, kind of telling them that they are fighting for Russia, they are fighting for their country, when in reality, yes, in Ukraine, to another country. They have invaded another country with the pretense that they were somehow endangered by other countries.
Well, they are. They are always endangered. Can't you see? The language is endangered. Russian culture is in great danger. Pushkin, Dostoevsky, they are all endangered. And like in Kremlin.
Yes, that's what they tell to their population. Of course, on the international arena, that doesn't work. Those facts, they don't work anymore. Of course, now everyone can see what Russia really is, and this war, this useless war, I would say, has shown Russia's true face to everyone. But that's the thing that I would really like to see people stand up in Russia, because it's not just Putin, it's not just the regime. It's
do you think this is... let me ask you then another question. We're turning more personal. You said you just want to see people stand up in Russia.
Yes, because we in Latvia, we have gone to...
For what reason?
We in Latvia, we have gone through that. We had people who stood up when the time... And now we are an independent country. We saw in Ukraine the same things happen. People stood up. They were fighting for democracy. They were fighting for freedom. Exactly. They were fighting for better future in their country.
Well,
what we see now is the opposite. People are trying to say, it's not us, it's not our decision, we cannot influence anything. Like anything we do is useless. But it's not true. It's only true when you believe that and you are inactive.
Well, this
you don't
is
take
true
any
in
action.
Russia. Because Latvia remembers that it was free, it is free now. It still senses that taste of freedom. The freedom is not always a good thing. It is hard to defend, it is even harder to hold. It is even harder to teach your children to be free. Not it's like they can do all they want, but to be really free, that comes there. That's where the relationship with freedom comes. It's responsibility, comes with responsibility. But Russia can't remember a single, 10 years in its history when it was free. Tsars, that collective Tsar, that collective Putin, is spread all over the country's history. So the nation is not actually the nation, it's a crowd of people that think how to survive. And now they got Putin. And the Putin say that this is here you go, you have a national idea. It's me. I can even change the constitution. Just write whatever I want inside the main document of the country, of the whole nation. Just write that I can be a president for as long as I like. I am a Tsar. I am the Alpha and Omega of this country. And they're like, okay. So do you think that
of course it's really difficult for them. I completely understand. It's difficult for them because they cannot see. But then on the other hand, you are willing to go to war where you have a high probability of dying. You have a really high probability of dying, and then you are scared of being put in the prison. I would like to see people in masses going out, protesting against this war, etc., so that the regime cannot fight with masses. At one point, the prisons would be full. At one point, there might be a shift. But I agree that it's not easy, and especially for people who have been under authoritarian power for so long, they have changed their tsars, of course, and things like that. And as you said, Putin now, it's nowadays tsar, and of course it's difficult to go against it. But how long can you take all of those things that are happening?
Forever.
How long can you?
It can be taken forever.
How long can you?
Until the rigid structure pardon me.
Yeah, because it's really like the thing that I don't understand, that Ukrainians probably don't understand, is that how can you can go to another country and steal their toilets, and at the same time you are doing nothing to improve that situation in Russia. You are just you had this TV series where there is it's a Russian TV series where a guy is watching TV and criticizing everything, and exactly. Just sitting, drinking beer and criticizing everything.
Talking
but
to
doesn't take any responsibility of what's happening around him. And that's the thing. I think when that's going to change in the society, when Russian people, Russian inhabitants are going to understand that they have the power to change things. They don't have to change everything, go for a big revolution, but start changing things, start going out. That's when it's going to change. And that's when actually all of us are going to feel much more safe.
Thank you very much, Leila.